sign your life away with the click of a button. Remember, we are recording. So awesome. So you guys, I am really, really excited because I think it was in November. I was asked to do a call for Tony Van Schoik, Tony Vans, the OOG. And there was this person on the call, and the entire time on the call, he was just like engaged and he was soaking in all of the information. And like, if you've ever done a training on a call before, you appreciate those people so much because you're looking at a gallery of mostly people with their cameras off, and it's really, really hard to get like fired up sometimes when it's like that. But instantly I was like, okay, this is the Antonio that everyone's talking about. And it's not a big surprise as to why it was. I was telling him earlier, I was like, it felt like one day there was no Antonio, and then the next day was all Antonio. It was like everywhere was him. And that's so awesome because he really did come in absolutely on fire. And then there was I think it was in November, and we were like, are you getting MM? He's like, no, but apparently he was just waiting to do MM and MMM all in 1 month. That was his plan, right? So he is a brand new MMM with this company, and I'm so blessed and so excited to have him speaking with me. I feel like I'm in the midst of a celebrity. We have actually on the screen right now, we have 2 Monation speakers on screen right now. So we're pretty lucky because my little sister was up there too. And so was Antonio. So I'm actually going to have him take the floor first, and he's going to talk a little bit about himself, and then I'm going to poke and prod at him interview style, and then I'm going to come in with some systems and some hacks that are going to help you like level up your business, streamline things, and they become kind of like a monthly repetitive thing so that you can keep the system and duplicate it down to your teams. So Antonio, welcome.
Thank you. Earlier, I love this. I appreciate this. And you asking me to do this. This is fun. This is what it's about. If you guys are playing big in 2023, type of 23 in the chat. I'm talking about like big, big, big. Like I'm not holding anything back. 22, I was just, playing with my business, playing with myself. I was holding myself back. 23 is my year, and I am not going back. I'm playing big. There we go. There we go. All right. I'm Antonio. For those of you that don't know me, I go by Deuce or Penny, or you can just call me Antonio from Oakland, California, born and raised, but I am in Huntington Beach right now. I went to school in Utah, played football at Utah State for 4 years. And, if you know anything about Oakland, the only thing that was really glorified in Oakland was the streets, playing ball or becoming a rapper. I'm not a rapper, and my OGs wouldn't let me in the streets, and so I decided to play football. I got a football scholarship to Utah State. But when football was over, I was lost, and that's how a lot of athletes are. They're pretty lost after sports. They don't know what they want to do. We don't have a black backup plan. And so for about 8 years of my life, I was really lost, and that's when I found network marketing. Working 2 jobs 6 days a week before as a server. I love serving. I love taking care of people. But I knew there was more to life. It's just like I knew something needed to change, and I needed something different and something more out of life. And that's when I got introduced to network marketing. I heard all of oh, that's a pyramid scheme. That stuff doesn't work. Only a certain amount of people make money in that. Like I heard all of the things. But when I got around network marketing, I saw a culture of people adding value to others. And I was with 2 different companies before I was introduced to Monet. I was serving this girl in 20 of March of 21. And she was telling me about this business, this Monet business shampoo and all of this stuff. And then she was like, I would love for you to try the skincare. And I was like, you know what? I'll help you. I'll help you get his bonus. She needed a bonus, and I was like, I'll help you do that. 19.99, easy. And I shelved the product for about 6 months. Just typical guy, buy the product, support, and just shelve it. But when I picked it back up in August, I felt the difference in my skin. I saw the difference in my skin. Then everybody started asking, "What are you using on your skin? What is it? It's glowing, right?" And I recommend stuff all the time. different restaurants, different, where'd you get your hat? Where'd you get that watch? All of the stuff. And I knew it was nothing like network marketing because I wasn't getting paid for those restaurants. I would go to the movies and sell 100 tickets, telling them it was a good movie. But the director didn't send me a check, but I knew network marketing. I was like, this could be something. Everybody watched their face, everybody watched their hair, everybody watched their body. This could be something. And so I decided to become a market partner. And I didn't see any representation. I didn't see any black people. I didn't see any men, but I did not let that stop me. I was like, I'm going to be that representation. So when people say, I don't see any black people, I'm like, okay, what am I then? Right. I don't see any men. Okay, what am I then? Right. And so I saw a lane wide open to go first. Not saying that I would be the first person, first male in this business to build, but the first person, the first male that the people that know me see in this business and build. And so I got started right away. And I'm not gonna cuss on this, but I didn't know jack when I first came in. All right. I knew nothing, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. I didn't wait for an upline. I didn't wait for a sideline. I didn't wait for a sponsor, whatever you want to call it. I got to work immediately. We all know that we have a back office with all the tools that we need, and I did it all on my own. Right. Not saying that I couldn't, call and reach out to them because our community is just so supportive, but I wanted to put the work in myself and the things that I can control. So I always say, what can you do today? Every day when you wake up, say, what can I do today to build my business? What can I do today for me to be better with myself? Right? Those are the things that you can control. Not I gotta go out here and talk to a million people or get out of my comfort zone. Like, yeah, we're gonna do that. But what can you do for yourself, personal development wise, right? To build your confidence to go out there and build your business. And so I always say show up to go up. There's these all of these calls, there's a million calls, and we all have life. We all have, kids, we have jobs, we have other responsibilities where my Nate is not like I have to do my Nate go, go, go 24/7. But you do have to show up to go up. And if you don't, like, I love that these calls are recorded because you can always go back to it, right? You guys ever been to class and then you get sick and then it's like, dang, I can't go to school, but they send a packet home, right? And you still have to do that packet to get your grade. And it's the same thing with these recordings. These recordings are here for you to follow up and get the information. The more information you have, the more confident you are in what you're doing. And so I got to work right away. And with this, I know you're probably going to be asking a lot of these questions, but we can circle back. But I just want to give a little gist. But um, I only been in for 15 months. Okay. And month 8, the company hit me up and asked me to speak on stage. Right. And I'm like, why me? And I'm like, and then I was like, okay, I'm very humble. I'm a very humble person. But I was like, you know what? I put that work in, like I had to pat myself on the back. It was like, well, we put that work in, and it shows that it doesn't matter where you are. And this is kind of like, I wouldn't say it's bragging rights, but I was the lowest rank to ever speak on stage. I mean, the lowest, right? It's not like, yeah, I'm SED. I was the lowest rank to speak on stage, but it doesn't matter where you are in your business. If you get to work and you impact enough lives, they will recognize you. Okay. And so, develop the confidence and being consistent and doing the little things right. And so we're here. I am here to add value to people. I love this community. I love everything about what we get a chance to do every single day. I'm very passionate about it. I use my social media to get it out there. I love to be funny. If you guys seen my reels, like I love to be funny about things. I like to take people's excuses and throw them in a reel so they can see themselves when they give me these crazy excuses. But I also like to educate people at the same time, right? Because it's like when you can educate people and then throw some humor around it, it's like okay, this is kind of good. This is funny, but it's true, right? But I'm so happy to be here with you guys, and whatever questions you have for me, I am ready to answer them. And just to help you guys get going and get unstuck if you're stuck in your business. And if you're just getting started, I say just buckle up and show up. Don't feel like you have to know everything because you don't. I didn't. You can learn on your own, or you can call somebody and find out the information. You have a supportive group of people here that will add so much value to you and show you along the way. So, don't be afraid to fail forward. We made a lot of mistakes. I like to make the mistakes going forward. So when I bring people in, I can show them exactly what's going to happen. I can help them navigate through the highs and lows of this, but just stay on the ride, right? There's going to be so many people that tell us no. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys know that for the ones that's been here for a while. There's going to be a lot of people that tell you no, but when those people, see the consistency, and when it's time for them to really take a look at what we're talking about, and they say yes, let's just make sure that we're treating people with respect. We're loving on people when they do tell us no, because people will always remember how you treat them when they tell you no. Okay, so yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it. And I knew I liked you for a reason because we're both athletes. I played college hockey in the States. So I was like, that's where the vibe's from. I get it now. So
Yes.
my first big question, and I know people are going to ask this one, is Kate, you went from AMM to MMM in 1 month. Okay. Now I'm going to assume that didn't happen because you woke up on December 1st and you were like, you know what? I'm just going to start today. Right. I'm going to assume that is a cumulative effort of the work that you put in. And most people are going to ask you, what did you do? But I want to actually ask you a question as to how did you get back up? Like, I'm sure in 15 months of time, there were many times where you got knocked down. So like, if you were to say like your top 3 things to do after you've been like kicked in the guts, what is that for you?
You keep going. I mean, we get kicked in the gut. Life kicks us in the gut every day, it seemed like, but you're not gonna give up on yourself, right? I'll tell you this, before December, I would say October and November were my lowest months ever in my name. Like they were the lowest, right? But my journey started on September 15th, and every little thing counts. Every little thing that we do counts. And let me give you this. I'm gonna give you this penny analogy before we get off. Remind me to give you the penny analogy.
I'm going to write it down.
Okay, every little thing counts. Every phone call, every reel, every follow up, every just being persistent and consistent, right? It started in September, and it came out on fire, right? And I didn't expect to build a business. I just wanted to share casually with friends and family, but it caught fire because I was sharing with so much passion. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, but I was sharing what was working for me, right? I would come out like, hey, look, I don't know everything about this stuff, but I'm very passionate and I know that this is something, right? And I don't know how to explain it, but can I get you on the phone with the person that brought me in and they can explain it to you how they explain it to me? Because I don't want to sit up here and just act like I know everything, right? And I always give it to people like the if I was driving a Ferrari, right, and I pull up at a gas station and I see these guys and they all about Ferrari and they like, man, what type of engine is that? And I'm like, if I try to say, yeah, it's a 560 28 ZX 49, right? And they like, bro, really? Right? They try to act like I know what I'm talking about, and they know. But I would say, you know what? I really don't even know. But let me ask the person that sold it to me, and I can tell you about that, right? But what I can tell you is how it make me feel when I'm behind the wheel. I can tell you that, right? That's the excitement that we have to have and we have to share. Don't act like you know everything, and it's okay if you don't, because we will. You don't graduate on day one, and so being consistent, constantly recruiting. This business, you have to get in front of people. This is not just hide behind the keyboard and all of that stuff. We're building relationships here. Yes, you can get sales behind the keyboard. Yeah, I mean, we have social media. Make sure you use that to your advantage. It's just a tool. But we have to be belly button to belly button with people, eye to eye with people, be real raw and uncut and share our story. Share your story. People want to know that. They don't care about all the science and the 1,400 banned ingredients and the non-toxic. Like some people do care about that, but some people don't. They want to know why you're doing it. I'm doing this because I want to be debt free. People want to know where you're going. I don't think anybody in here, well, maybe a few of you because y'all crazy, will get in a plane with a pilot that don't know where he's going. Would you? He'd be like, "Hey, man, we just gonna fly somewhere." Like, nah, bro. I need to know. I need to know where we going. Right? Some of y'all like, man, I need a vacation. I need to get out of here. My kid is driving me crazy. I get it, but that could be on the crash course. But I like to know where we going. Okay. If I say, hey, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I told a lot of people what we're gonna do, and some of them didn't believe me. They didn't hop in the plane with me, but now they're looking like, damn, I should have hopped on the plane with him. But it's never too late. I'll come back around. Right. And so just really being consistent and understand that these when we're going up, right, we might come down, but our down is still higher than when we started. Right? We start here and then we go up and then we come down. We're still higher than where we started, right? So when we get these downs, they're not downs, they're preparing us for the next level. There's something that we need to learn to get to that next level. Or we're going to be in a cycle, a vicious cycle over and over and over again. So understand when you're in that waiting period, there's things that we're learning while we're in that period so we can go up. And so December 1st, I didn't even know that we were going for MM. Like it was a gazillion flash sales in December. Thank God, right? We had about 72 million flash sales to where people were just buying stuff. And then we looked up and was like, wait a minute, we're really close. We're a few grand away from hitting MM. Let's huddle up. We did one of these, we huddled up, and I said, let's break this goal down. We always look at the bigger number of things, right? But when we can just chop that number down, we can chop it up, and then it's looking at it like, wow, okay, I can do that, right? I might, like, if you say you got to get the MM, get 30,000, it's like, whoa, that's like asking somebody to lift 30,000 pounds, right? Like, no, just lift 100 pounds, just 100. Just 100, and then we're going to do 100 at a time, 100 at a time, 100 at a time. So really just breaking it down. That's what we did. We huddled up. We saw where everybody was at. We broke down their goals, because if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want out of it. And so once we hit MM, we were like, we're really close to MMM. So let's do it. We huddled up again. We broke it all down again, and we just made it happen. We hit over the goal, and that's what we're doing now. We're just huddling up. We're knocking out goals, and we're keep going. So there's not always a up season in what we're doing, but you can, when you're down, lean on your support. Okay. Don't push people away. Don't curl up and hide in the ball. And don't do any of that stuff, because that's the easy way out, right? We have to be real authentic and just vulnerable in where we're at. It doesn't make you less of a man or less of a woman because you're not doing the numbers. If we get caught up in the numbers, we'll never be happy. The numbers are endless. It's infinite, right? We have to worry about how are we going to navigate through these the emotions, how are we going to navigate through these experiences, and what can we do to focus forward,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
I love all of that. And I could just sit here and like listen and nod like this the entire time, because it just so many different things hit so hard. So I know another question that's going to come, because I know lots of people have been sitting there either really far away from a goal or very close to a goal. And you're like, you'll hear people say, we'll say to our teams, like, push it, like, you got this, like, go for it, huddle up, everyone, da, 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 all the things. Okay. Just being super bold here with you. Did you do cold calls? Is
Hell
that
yeah.
part of your, is that part, that's part, okay, I want to
Oh
hear.
yeah, hell yeah, because if you don't do cold calls, it's a no anyways, right?
Mm,
I turned this whole thing into a fundraiser. You guys ever did a fundraiser before? Hey, could you buy some of my candy? I have a goal. I have a goal that I'm hitting. I want to sell X amount of boxes of candy so I can hit this goal. Same thing.
mm,
Hey, we're really close. I hit up my coaches from high school and I said, hey, coach, I need a favor from you, right? And he's like what? Like just random, but he knows that I'm good. And it's a good thing about deposit into relationships, right?
mm.
You need to deposit into every relationship that you have. The more deposits that you do for people, the things, the small things that you do for people, is a deposit. Showing up to their birthday, saying happy birthday, getting their son a gift or whatever the case may be, or picking them up and taking them somewhere when they need a ride. Those are deposits in relationships, right? The more you deposit, when it's time to withdraw and ask somebody for something, it's a no-brainer, right? But if you're just taking, withdrawing from people, like same thing with your bank account. If you're withdrawing and you're not putting any deposits in, then you're going to be insufficient, right? And that's the same thing with relationships. If you're just taking away from people, they don't care what you're asking for. It's gonna be a no. They're like, man, dude, you didn't drain me. You didn't drain everything from me. No. So make sure you deposit in relationships. So I reached out to my coach. And I was like, hey coach, I'm going for a goal, and I'm just looking for some support. I would you buy, $50 worth of stuff or $100, but whatever it was. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Right. Some of them said no, some of them said yeah and didn't even order. Right. But you have to open your mouth,
Mhm,
and if you don't, it's an automatic no. But
mhm,
what happens is you're growing by talking to those people. You're growing, you learning what to say and what not to say. Oh, I could have said that better. Oh, I could have said that this way, right? And so you're learning as you go, and you got to keep swinging. You got to keep swinging. Once you stop swinging, it's just like you giving up. I don't care how tired you are and what it's like. Maybe you can take a reset and regroup. That's cool. But if you have a goal, keep swinging till the clock says zero.
mhm. Yep. And I love because I don't know of someone who's gone for like a very big rank. There's always that month that you hit the rank, there's always the push, right? It's like you have to bust through that wall. And I don't know of anyone who hasn't had to like pick up the phone, call, talk to people, send the messages. And it's just something that I think you either let fear hold you back from it and you let that know. But I love what he said. And I think every single person, even if you're on his team, you need to write this down because you're going to have to remember this over and over again. If you don't ask, it's already a no. And that was like absolutely amazing because I think that's such a key point that everybody has to take forward in their entire business is if you don't ask, it's already a no. You might as well get the no, right? You might as well go for it and get the no. And I really, really, really like that. So my next question for you is, because it's something that you kind of just like you ooze a confidence about you. And I think that you probably also get the phrase a lot, like, but you're you, I'm not you, like I'm not like you, and da 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 da. And I think I would be safe to also assume that you weren't always this person before either, right? You have a before picture to this like confident person, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
And
I
so
do.
what do you do to cultivate that? Like what was your growth period like for that and what did you do?
I learn as much as I can. The more you know, the more confident you are, right? You ever been to a workout class and you didn't know anything? You're not confident,
Mhm,
right? But once you start, like, you show up to go up. Every time you show up, you're learning something. You apply it.
mhm,
Listening to podcasts, how to get over anxiety, how to push through whatever. Apply it. Right? We get on all of these calls, we read all of these books and all of this personal development stuff, but where's the personal growth? The
mhm,
personal growth come from doing the work,
mhm,
right? And that's where it comes from. And like I told you, I didn't know anything and I didn't have a lot of confidence in sharing what we were doing at first. But what I did have was an upline that knew more than me, right? And that's who I leaned on as I learned. I would get her on a three-way call. I would say, hey, Jack, this is Jill. Jack is looking for this, and that. Jill was the person that brought me in. I would love to connect you guys and just to see where we can go from here. Mute, and I'm listening with a pen in hand, writing down stuff. Okay, boom, boom. I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning. You get that person on enough calls, you're gonna know the information. You're gonna know the information. The more you know, the more confident you are in the things that we do. I can tell when someone is not confident trying to sell me something. Like I could tell. Sometimes I kind of play dumb and just ask questions when I already know the answers to it, right? Just to see what they're gonna say. But I would give them some pointers, like you need to be more confident in what you're sharing,
mhm.
right? Because if you would have came with me with confidence, it didn't even matter what it is. If it was selling dog doodle and you told me that it make me fly and you just broke it down to me, I would probably buy 10 pounds of dog doodle, and I would mix it up with my breakfast if that's what it was, right? And so you have to develop this confidence. So uh podcasts, getting with your upline, learning the material, hopping on these calls, all of this stuff. Practice. Go out there and get told no. Go out there and feel stupid. So
Mhm.
what? Who cares, right? If I go up to a stranger right now and I just tell them all of the things that I know, they don't see the shy version of me. They like, man, this dude is confident. I don't like, where did he get this from, right? So get out there and make yourself uncomfortable, right? Go out there and mess up. Go out there and keep messing up. Repetition, repetition, repetition. The more reps you take, the more confident you'll be, right? Same thing with the gym. It's like you want to lift a 50-pound weight. You got to start with the fives first. You
Mm,
start with the fives. You start with
yeah.
the 50s, you might hurt yourself, blow a shoulder or something. Then you're going to give up. You're going to quit. Like, man, I can't. Nope, I can't even lift a five now because I tried to do too much, right? So start with a five. Then I work up to the 10s, the 15s, the 20s, and you're building this confidence as you go. I have so many people that were introverts that joined my team, right? I attract so many introverts because I've been there before. I
Mhm.
know exactly the fear that they have when they first start. I didn't go live before my Nate. I didn't do reels before my Nate. Check my account. I didn't do any of that stuff before my Nate, but I knew if I wanted different, I had to do different. And so when I went to our SED's Christmas event. It was my first event, and the girl was like, "Would you go live with me?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is, but yeah, let's do it." Right. And ever since then, it was just like it's kind of like okay, that's who Antonio is. Get it out there. And I was nervous as hell when I first went. But as I started to go, I started gaining this confidence. If you would have told me about 15 months ago that I'll be doing calls like this, I'd have been like, shut the hell up, dude. Like really, like, come on now. I'm not doing that, right? And so I understand where you are. If you're like, man, I can't do what he's doing. Yes, you can.
Mhm.
Yes, you can. You could do everything that we're doing. The only difference between a market partner and a SED or yeah, a MP and a SED is the work that's been put in. That's it. Everybody came in with a 199 or 599 pack or whatever they bought. They bought a pack and they started at market partner, right? The only difference is they start doing the work. That's it. You can't lose if you're doing the work. You can't lose. You can't lose if you don't quit.
Mhm.
Have anybody tried to fight a person that didn't give up? That shit is frustrating as hell. It's like, damn, you're not falling, you're not giving up. It's like, no, I'm not. And I don't care what anybody say, what they think. It doesn't matter. You can tell me, hey, black people, oh, that stuff make your hair fall out. Okay, so when did your hair fall out? Oh, I never tried it before. So how you gonna tell me that this stuff makes your hair fall out? You never tried it before. So don't listen to the people on the sidelines, right? Get in the game. Listen to the people that's in the game and that's doing it. So I
I
don't
love
even know what your question was, but that
But
was
you answered it.
that.
Yeah, because I think that number one, you used the community and the opportunity to
Confidence.
get on calls like this to immerse yourself in that culture to really level up those five people that you surround yourself with. You become like, right? And we're so blessed in this day and age with the technology. It's never been easier to level up who you are by who you surround yourself with because of
Right.
like so huge. I
Mm.
think that everyone's very shook because I think that you're kind of like implanted in people's minds as like a social media dude. So to hear that you never did a reel or a live before you joined Monat, everyone's just like, shit, there went my excuse. Like, like just excuses are just being like knocked down and busted down left, right, and center. So I
Hey, don't come at me with no excuses. I will turn every excuse you have, and you will be like, damn, man, he just don't stop.
right, I'm either
There's
gonna
no
stop,
excuses.
right? They'll either stop talking to you or they'll start working.
Yeah.
Because either way, right?
When they stop talking, they still paying attention.
Right? Exactly. So
No.
one question here is like, so how do you invite people to take a look at the business and do you have specific tools that you use in that process?
Yeah, I kind of ask them questions on where they are in life, right? Because we want to know who we're talking to first and foremost. Like I know we all been through the process of like, oh my God, this person will kill this business. Like, yeah, okay, but where does it fit in their life, right? There's some people that have money that don't have support. So I'm not gonna talk to them about how much money they can make. They don't really give a damn about how much money they can make, right? They need support. They need the community. So I will talk about how the community will be great for them, right? And then once they in, then they can see the all the money and stuff. It's like, okay, great. And the person that have community, but they just need some money, we can show them how to turn their community into dollars,
Mhm.
right? And so that's how I invite people. I get to know people. I ask a lot of questions.
Mhm.
I ask a lot of questions, okay? And that's gonna lead you to the opening of what we do. We can word vomit my name all over people all day if we want to, because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of stuff, but what you have to narrow it down on what fits for them, right? I'm not gonna, you guys familiar with basketball? If you know Shaquille O'Neal, type of 23 in the chat if you know who Shaquille O'Neal is, right? 23, 23. Y'all know who Jordan is, right? Yeah. So you're not gonna ask Shaq to shoot threes, are you? No, hell no, you're not. You're gonna ask him to get rebounds and play defense, right? So you have to know who you're talking to so you can put this business in their lap of what they need. So find out what they need. I'll say, oh yeah, this business is 149 now. Okay, cool. I don't care if it's $1, but where does it fit in my life? I don't care if it's free. Where does it fit in my life? Where's the benefit for me? You can make money. I don't need money right now. I need time. This is what I need. I need time. Okay, then now we're talking. Now
Mhm.
we can talk about how, these women are bringing their husbands home, right? Or these man, single moms single moms, they go ham for their babies. They would do anything and everything for their babies. Salute to y'all. And talk about how they can be home with their babies. They can spend that time. They don't have to spend money on daycare or whatever the case may be, or pick their child up and have to drop them off somewhere else. They can spend that time. So find out who you're talking to and
Mhm.
plug this business in with the need for them. It's not a need for you. It's not let me just sign up a market partner so I can hit my numbers. You want to make sure you're adding quality people to your team.
I really like that because I think so often people are looking for like a magical script or like a magical kind of thing that's coming out. And, you know, I always say like the person who asks the most questions wins, because at the end of the day, it comes back. And I love that you also earlier brought up the emotional bank account, I think, because I always talk on that. But questions deposit into someone's emotional bank account because you're taking an interest in their life,
Yep.
right? So the more you know about someone else, and I was training a girl today and I said, like, listen, like my goal is to walk away from a conversation where hopefully they actually know nothing about me and I could write a novel about them. Like I want to know those things. I want them to walk away and be like, what does she even do for work? I want there to be that curiosity, right? And I love how that's what you're talking about, where you're like, it's just like you got to ask the questions. You got to care more about what this can do for them than what it's going to do for your numbers and your results at the end of the day. Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because, and I think that, and I don't know if it's something that you've ever maybe noticed about why you have success in this business on the other side of the accept button. I always like to talk like after someone has joined, because this business is a relationship business even after that's been pushed, and you really need to still care more about your team's paycheck, about your frontline's paychecks than you do about your own, right?
Yep.
Because in turn, if they make more, you make more, right? And that's the only way to raise your paycheck, like legit the only way.
Right.
Like,
I want to say this quick story. I don't know if you guys got time, but
no.
that's another reason why we pushed for M, the three M's, right? We had a girl, we had a girl on our team that had just gotten a nasty car accident. Her son was rushed to the hospital via helicopter, and she had to meet them there. So just imagine this mom driving this car to meet her son that stopped breathing at a hospital, everything that was going through her mind. And she ended up having a car accident. She got in a car accident, totaled her everything, and she needed this money. And so we really sat down. It was like, I know you're having a crappy month. Um, this extra $1,000, what would that do for you?
Mm,
She's like, it mean everything. It means everything right now. The extra $1,000 bonus for hitting AMM. She got a brand new MMB. That's $1,000 in her pocket,
mm.
right? I said, we're about to sit down and map that out and show you what you need to do to get that. And we're going to help you do that.
Oh, I love that.
That's what drove us to MMM. because of that right there. So you find out what people need, right? Break it down for them. If I say, hey, all you got to do is get the AMM, she'd be like, dude, what?
Mhm.
Right? So we broke it down and said, hey, we are here to help you do this. Let's do it. Right. And we got in the trenches with her and she hit it. And I just love who she is because she show up every day and she qualified for Vegas. But at the beginning of the month, she didn't even know if she was gonna do that. She was like, my Vegas is over for me, right? But that's what we have to do. We have to dive deep into where people are and lift them back up,
Mhm.
thank God she was open to listening. That's built that trust. She was open and listen to solutions, right? So we all have problems, but we're here to give solutions. And she
Yeah,
was open to that solution. And now we have a whole different person. And I love for her to tell her story. I think I'm gonna go live with her for her to tell her story
love that.
on that. But it's very easy to sell, guys. It's very, very easy to sell. But it's difficult when it's time to lead because nobody have to listen to you, nobody have to follow you. So you make sure you showing up and you representing your personal growth for yourself so people can look and be like, you know what, I want to follow her, I want to follow him. That's where I want to go.
And I think if, that phone call or however you did it with her when you were saying like, what would this do for you? I think if that had been the very first time you'd ever spoken to her since she came on the other side of the accept button, it would not have been received as well. It would have come across really thirsty, really desperate, just like not in the right way. And she'd be like, did you not see my life? Like it's upside down right now. But
Right.
because of how that goes, and I really, and I love everything that you've said, and I don't want to like cut you off in any of it, but I also want to make sure that I deliver some value to your team for you because you've given so much. And I'm sure that your team hears you, they get you front row to you all the time, which they're super lucky for that. So all of you on his team, you better be very grateful because you have a very special human at the front of the ship there for you guys. And I'm sure he doesn't even see it as himself being at the front of the ship. He's probably like, just got a big dock and everyone's lined it. So I think that's really awesome about him. But we'll come back to, I know that there's a couple questions and we'll come back to that. In mine, I'm a systems person. So I'm just going to touch a little bit with you guys on some systems that you can put into play in your business. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself so that you do understand that like I'm not just like some weird ginger that got picked up off the street and asked to do a Zoom call, right? So I'm Kat Geertsen. I am from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, way up north here. And I've been with 1-8, wait for it, since August 1st of 2015. So I've been here for a minute, for quite a minute. And I actually joined this business with the intention of just like making ends meet in my month, right? I'm a single mom to a now 10-year-old girl who was 3 when I joined this business. I am a registered massage therapist, former oil field worker, and a former hockey player. So I played hockey in Minnesota in Mankato, at the University of Mankato in Minnesota. And why that is relevant, because the person who signed me up for money, and I wish it was some like, some people have this like really like God inspired story, and I don't have that. The person who got me interested in money was in my freshman year of college in 2006, and she held my legs up in a keg stand. I wish it was fancier. I wish it had some like divine timing kind of thing, and maybe it was a divine timing. I don't know. I'm sure my mom would not think it does, but I mean, I feel like it did. But as my mom's shaking her head, because my mom's also an MMM in this company, so that's pretty exciting. There, my mom and my sister joined with me on day 1 there, and they're both now Cadillac drivers, legacy founders, MMMs, and so it's kind of been like a family circus up here. But I pushed accept, and I like to share this part of my story because I think it's super important to understand this. I don't know how many female hockey players that you guys know, or how many that you've met in your times, but we're not necessarily the demographic that people are going to for like beauty advice. That's not what we're necessarily known for, is like being like these like beauty gurus, right? There is a stigma, there is, and it's like we're just really tough. Like everyone's always surprised that we have all of our teeth, right? That's just kind of how it is. but I didn't see that part of it. I didn't see the idea that like I'm a hockey player, that I've never really been a girly girl. I've been like more of like a tomboy. I've didn't see the idea that like maybe the fact that I usually have my hair in a mom bun might make me not sell that much shampoo. That wasn't anything that crossed my mind. What I saw was an opportunity with a product that people were legitimately washing down the drain. Like they were legit washing it down the drain and they're going to run out. So I stalked my upline. So my upline didn't have to ask me to join the company. I stalked her and harassed her for 6 months until it launched in Canada. And then I ran with it. I hit MME in 11 days, no, 14 days. And then the next month I hit AMM. The next month after that, I hit MM. And then the next month after that, I hit MMM. I need to also make known that at this point in Canada, we actually, for most of that, we couldn't even sell product. Okay. It was hitting those volumes with just market partner recruiting, okay, and duplicating a process. And I'm sharing with you because this is a program, I guess, system that duplicates very quickly. When Canada launched, they launched the country with 600 market partners and 450 were on our team. So that's big deal. That's big duplication. That's like big moves, okay, and that comes from having a simple system that can duplicate, and duplicate. And for those of you who are new in this business, really set your sights on the idea that you will become a millionaire in this business if you can figure out how to duplicate down to level 5. Duplicating to level 1, very simple. The people that you bring in, getting them to do the things you're doing, very simple. Level 2 gets a little bit stickier. Level 3, hard. 4 and 5, that's like level like master, if you can do that. And so really make that your thing, right? So you want to build and duplicate 5 levels down. Once you can master that, it's actually just going to keep going down, 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 down. If you can bust through that wall of that 4th level, huge deal. The way that you can do that though is to have things be very simple. As soon as things get complicated, people get confused and they'll either go into analysis paralysis or they disappear, right? Because a confused mind sits still and doesn't do anything, right? So we also, when we launched, we weren't actually able to try the product, okay? So we didn't ever have any product on hand, and it took us until about the 14th and the 21st of the month was when we actually got product in hand. So I hit MMB before I got my product pack, right? And my family was ranking up and my team was ranking up before they even got their products in their hands. So I love when he is saying like, you don't actually need to know a whole lot. You just need to be ignorance on fire. You need to be just like so excited about how much you don't know to do that. The reason that I was able to get so excited and our team was able to get so excited, because those numbers don't happen with one person, that happens with a team that's extremely excited. And in our back office at that time, I'm going to just ask you to just go upstairs for a little bit more now, my daughter, sorry. But a team that is excited is what moves absolute mountains and makes things go like bananas, okay? You have to understand your have, do, be, and why. Okay. And I don't know if you've gone through this, but ever, or if you have, you should do this monthly. You should do this anytime that you've had great success. You should do this anytime that you're losing momentum or you're starting to doubt yourself. You should run through this portion here. This was actually the only document we had in our back office when I joined. We didn't have information sheets, product information sheets. We didn't have anything. We had one thing that said Power Start Manual, and it talked about your have, do, be, and your why. So I'm going to run through this really quickly, and so that you can kind of understand your have, do, be, build your why. Because some people, their main fault in this business is that they don't have a strong enough why. They don't have a why that scares the devil when they wake up in the morning. They don't have that why that's just like, shit, she or he's up again. Like, what are we going to do? They're going to dominate the world. They don't have that piece there. They don't have that fire that's going to just like absolutely explode through any adversity that they face. Okay. So first things first, what do you want to have? And I really like to do this with my team. Okay. It's one thing to do this yourself, but it's so much different when you connect with another person and you do this. When you're talking with your team, this is actually right in my YouTube video that I have talking about this. It talks about the emotional bank account, right? Because as I'm sitting with my team, going through these things with them, I'm depositing into their emotional bank account because I'm hearing their dreams and I'm pushing them to dream more. So have, Okay, your have. What do you want to have a year from now? And you know what? Your instant answer is probably going to be like most people's will be, oh, I would love to be debt free, or I'd love to have more money, or I'd love to have this, have that, all these different things. If it is anything physical, if it is anything monetary, if it is anything like that, you need to get deeper. You need to dig more. It needs to become more rooted, right? So I like to lead. Sorry, my dog's gonna piss off my neighbors now. You need to get down to the point where it is rooted in emotion. So I like to do that best by sharing my original one. So my original have was I was literally sitting there thinking about, what do you want to have, Kat? Like, what is it that you want to have? And I'm looking around and I'm like, I want to have time. I felt like I was constantly wishing for the weekend to wish for the weekend to be over so I could start making money again, because I didn't realize how broke I was till it was the weekend and me and my daughter couldn't do anything. And I realized I had wished away the first 3 years of her life. Right. And that killed me. That absolutely broke me. I remember looking back, and the only reason I can have like some memories of those years is because of videos on my phone, not because I can remember the moment of being there. I wasn't there in the moment. Right. So I want to have more time. 12 months from now, I want to be able to turn around and say, do you have more time? Do you have more time for all of the things that you love? I want to be able to say yes. The next step is your do. What do you want to be doing a year from now? Now, people are going to say trips and da 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 and all this different stuff. And that's great. Yes, have those be a part of it. I sat down and I was like, I want to do things, right? Like, I don't want to have to be worrying. And I wrote this down, you guys. I didn't just write do things. I wrote down, I want to do things because I don't want to have to go and figure out which bill I can pay late to take my daughter to the movies on Valentine's Day. Right? I don't want that stress. I don't want to have that extra work. I want to be able to do things as simple as going to the water park, the movie, all of those things. And maybe one day just decide that I'm going to take her to Cancun with me for a leadership summit. Like, I want that. I want that feeling. Right. And so I knew I got rooted in I got my have, I got my do, and now be. And be is something that you want to sit here and you want to recognize that your be is actually never going to be correct unless it's something that you're never going to be actually able to achieve. Now, hold on for this, because you're going to need to understand this. I sat there and I was like, what do you want to be next year at this time? And I was like, I want to be present. Right? I want to be present, not just present in person, not just present in sitting there, but I want to be present in the moment, whether it's with my daughter, with my family, right? With different relationships, all these things. I want to be present. Am I ever going to be perfect at being present? No, but you always need to have your why be something that you're pushing for all the time, that you're always going to be better, but not there. Right? I can be better than I was yesterday, but not where I want to go with it, because I can always have more. So now I can look at this have, do, be, and it's going to build into my why, right? So I marinated, you guys. I marinated on this have, do, be for so long. And I joined on Monate on August 1st. In February, middle of February was our very first Monations in Orlando, Florida in 2016. And I had been marinating on this have, do, be, but this why wasn't really coming to me yet. Like, it wasn't like this quick little thing that just like instantly lit me up. And I was the speaker on stage at Monations at our first one. And all of a sudden it came to me and it fell out of my mouth. And I'm not a crier. I'm pretty hard. And I'm like a cactus. And it just like, I almost cried. I didn't cry, but like I could feel it happening. So I just pinched my butt cheeks together and I was like, no, it's not coming. Right. But my why is that I want my daughter to have the life that she would have. Right. I want her to have the life that she would have in a dual income home. I want her to have the opportunities that she would have from a dual income home. But I also want her to have the time with her mom that she would have if I was able to be a stay-at-home mom. That is my why. Right. And I'm so proud of that why, because I'm so proud I put it on my business card. Right. My why is on my business card. My why is on the things I send out in all of my samples to all of my people that are that, because I'm like, I want them to know what they're contributing to. Right. Your why becomes your mission statement. Your why becomes a thing that's going to inspire other people, even if you're not a single mom, even if you don't have kids. Right. You can identify with part of that. Because maybe you were the kid of a single mom. Maybe you were the kid that didn't have the time with their parents that they wanted. Maybe you were the kid that didn't have the opportunity. People can identify with your why, even if they can't really like put themselves in your shoes. So your why is so important. Now I want you to sit back and picture your team, your life a year from now, knowing every person front line to use why like that, and pulling it out of them. When they say, I want to have more money, and you're like, why do you want to have more money? What would you do with more money? What does more money bring to you? Really pulling that out of them and asking them those questions, getting to the root of it and helping them see and inspire that deeper, right? So go to the person who enrolled you in this business and say like, hey, let's bust through this have, do, be. I'm going to marinate on those and I'm going to make the most fire why I possibly can. A why that is going to take me to the top and fire me through all adversity. Okay. So the next thing here that I'm going to talk to you a little bit about is a system that I have on engagements to enroll. Okay. I'm not a social media guru. I think I just rolled over 2,000 followers like a bit ago, right? Like I'm very proud of that because I started with like 300. So, but I am a director with this company. I am a couple months away from my MDC jacket. So you don't need to have this massive following to go and do that. Okay. Because engagements to enroll suck, yeah, right? Engagements to enroll. Now we know that it takes someone more than one time seeing your product, seeing you, all of those things to go and say like, hey, sign me up. Okay. But you can actually go in really, and I want you to write this down or memorize this and understand this. Number 1 point, good things take time. Okay, good things take time. Number 2 point, great things take time and intention, right? So we want great things. So great things are going to take time and intention. So if we are just exposing people, but not intentionally, and we're not tracking those exposures, when you put out a post about money, when you post a reel and you post it to your stories, you should be going through that and seeing like who on your list has seen that. That's an engagement. That is an exposure that you have to them. And now people take more. It used to be 7 exposures when I first joined because social media, we didn't have stories. We weren't, now it's like, honestly, it can take 15 to 40 exposures for someone to actually go like onto the other side of the accept button. Right. So we want to track those, but other exposures are weighted more heavily. And I'll send Antonio my sheet that I have for this so that you can track it. And I have all of the different exposures pointed out, like ranked in points, so that you're going to know how many squares you can cross off based off of that person on the list and what you've exposed them and how you've exposed them, right? So there's different exposure ratings for an in-person event. There's different ones for getting them on a virtual Zoom. There's different ones for when you've sampled them. We want to build to 15 exposures. So then you can authentically, boldly ask, hey, why aren't you here with me? Why don't you think you can do what I do? You've seen this, you've seen that, you've been a part of this. You should be here on this side, right? So I'm going to send you that because I think that's like a piece that a lot of people miss is they write this list out of people. And then as the people don't say yes, that list gets lost, right? Or we just get scared of them. And we don't look at the different ways that we can actually engage with them and get those exposures to our product, business, people, comp plan, industry, all of the different things there. Okay. And then the next thing I want to go through, because I am a master planner, that is like, I am a time management person. I am a planner of all things. Because when I started this Monat journey, okay, I was a full-time student working at a restaurant bar in the evening while raising a 3-year-old. Okay, so I didn't sleep. I'm not even going to try to glamorize it. Like I went nuts. Like I actually went like crazy and was like, this has to stop. This has to end kind of thing. But I also knew I needed, if nothing, like how I was going in this life, I didn't have room for an excuse that I didn't have time. I didn't have room for that because I could look at you and see my life and what it was going to look like 5 years from now if I didn't change something. And that terrified me. That absolutely terrified me because I'm so passionate about hockey and I'm so passionate about women's sports and I'm so passionate about being a great role model to these girls in women's sports. And it terrified me, and it made me like weak in my stomach, and like it makes me almost want to cry again. I'm not a cry, but I could pretend to cry for you if you need me to, right? But like, to think that in order for my daughter to play hockey at that point in my life, that I was going to have to work nonstop, and I was going to have to rely on someone else to take her there. I wasn't going to get to coach. I wasn't going to get to watch, right? I was going to have to rely on other people sending me videos, other people telling me how it was going, other people telling me all these different things, just so that I could afford for her to go and play. And I probably still wouldn't be able to afford it, right? I'd probably still have to ask my parents and ask grandparents and all the different things for help in that. Okay. So I didn't have the time. I will be honest with you. I will give you an example of my day, so that if you this is you and I'm speaking to you, or there's someone on your team that needs to hear this, but like, I'm going to tell you, I would do the books at this restaurant in the morning. So I would get there at 6 a.m. and I would do the books. Okay. Then I would do my massage during the day. So I had to get my practicum hours in and study. Then at 5 o'clock, I would have to go back to the restaurant, work from 5 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I would get up and do it all over again. Okay, 5 days a week. So I looked at this here and I was like, you know what? There's one thing that I have to do every single day, no matter what. And I'm sorry if this is too much information, but this is just real life. Everyone goes to the bathroom, right? And I knew I could squeeze out a 15-minute bathroom break. Like I'll deal with the looks. I'll deal with them thinking, why was she in there so long? Like I will deal with that, whatever. But I knew I could work my business into 15-minute segments in the day. I could put a little bit more time between my massage clients, and I could go to the bathroom a little longer at work. Okay. So I also wanted to know, what did we have to do in this business to be successful? Because I didn't have a time for a lot of things. They had to be the main things, right? If I was going to do the things, they had to be the main things. They had to be the power things. They had to be the things that were going to make me money ASAP. All right. So I went on to Eric Worre. At that time, he didn't even have a podcast. It was just like a website, and he had $1 million earner interviews. And at this point in the business, no one in Monty had made $1 million yet. So I was like, I'm going to listen to these people because I want $1 million. Like I really do. I really want $1 million. And I went and listened to so many of these $1 million earner interviews. And I just started writing down things that they said. And anytime someone repeated something, I put a tally next to it to like, see what are they doing? And so I made my 5 sections, the top 5 things that all the $1 million earners said they were doing. Okay. So your 5 15-minute sections for the day. And this is where I'm going to end here. And then I believe we got to jump over to the $1 million millionaire mindset thingy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the very first section you're going to do, personal development. Not one person in that $1 million earner Eric Worre thing said that they didn't do personal development every single day, and that it was like breathing for them. That was how important it was. The number 2 thing, reach outs and relationship building. That's your next 15 minutes. Reach outs, relationship building. Those go in the same thing there. The third thing, follow-ups with customers and following up on your relationships that you're building. Right? Little Johnny had a soccer game on the weekend. You're following up with Susan to ask Susan how little Johnny's soccer game was, so that you're showing an interest in Susan and her family's life, so she trusts you more as time goes on. You are planning for that follow-up. Number 4 is plan. What personal development are you doing tomorrow? Who are you reaching out with, and how are you positioning yourself to have the most relationships built in that day? Who are you following up with? That's your plan right there. And number 5, you need to spend every single day, you need to spend 15 minutes inviting people to something. Inviting. Rissaru has put those there in the chat for you guys, so you can take a picture of that, see that. But those, and if you listen to Maxwell, John Maxwell says you need to have your 5 things that you do every single day in your business. And I promise you, if you do those 5 things every single day in your business, you will not recognize your business a year from now. So with that, guys, I'm going to say peace out to you. I'm going to send this recording over to Antonio so that you guys can have it and share it with the rest of your teams. And we will see you all on the other call. Bye, guys. Thank you, Antonio.